All right, welcome back. We are here with another episode of the Phase 1 Elite Podcast with our Athlete Spotlight.
Yes, sir.
Today we have another guest. Let him introduce himself right here.
Yes, my name is Cale Breslin. I go to Faith Lutheran High School, and I play running back, and I'm class of 25.
Good. So, Cale, let me ask you, we're going to dive right into this. How long have you been playing football?
I've been playing football for about 9 years, I say. I started when I was about 9 or 8, and, yeah, that's about when I started.
Now, let me ask you, did you start on the flag side, or did you start directly in pads?
Yeah, I started directly in pads. My funnest season was my first season. And then, I kind of took a decline after that. And then, I got better after that, obviously, from the decline. It's a long story.
Yeah. So let me ask you, when did you come along to the Phase 1 path? When did you, or let me ask you this, at what point did you see that, hey, you know what, I need to start training somewhere so I can get better?
So we back when we were in South Carolina, we lived in South Carolina. I played my first season. I had a good season. My grandma died. We went through a lot of things. And, I just kind of started eating, getting big.
Right.
Got slow, didn't work out at all, just played video games, what a regular kid was doing. But I knew I wanted to play football, but I did that for a couple years.
Okay.
So when we moved to Vegas, I knew, because I would play football because my parents didn't want me to at first. I kept asking. I was like, I want to play. But I went to play for the Henderson Cowboys.
Okay.
And and I played. I just wasn't good. I sucked. And that hurt, not starting, not making an impact. I deal with it. So I was like, we got to train. And my dad, he was doing research, and he found Phase 1. So then we went to Phase 1. I trained. I had my first day. I cried after the first day because it was just hard. I wasn't used to the hard work because, I hadn't worked in years.
Right.
So, I was like, I'm doing this no more. I'm not doing it. But then I eventually just came back because I was like, what else am I going to do? So I'm coming back. I'm keep working. And I just stayed through the process and kept going. So.
Good. Now, when I met you, you had already started. But one thing I did notice about you is when you were mentally set on training, you would kill it. You know what I'm saying? So what would you say was the focal point that made you say, hey, you know what? Like you said, the first time it was bad, you was hurting, didn't want to do it no more. What flipped that mindset to where it was like, now I'm going to go in here and kill this?
Well, just knowing in my head what I wanted to do, and I know I watched a lot of YouTube videos, watching a lot of these people and see how they're dedicated to it, and that I need to know, I need to do that. And I don't want to be last, or I want to be first in everything I do.
Right.
So I know, I'm not going to be the best immediately, but eventually I will be. Eventually I'm going to catch you. So I just got to keep sticking to it. Don't miss a day. That's one thing I live by. I started living by that after my sophomore year. I was just I'm not going to miss a day no matter what. If I can control it, I'm not missing a day.
Right. So let me ask you, your transition from, the lower levels of football, and then now you're at Faith Lutheran. I've had the opportunity to go to a few of your games and watch you play. Why running back? Why did you choose the running back position?
Well, actually, it's funny about that because I was going to play linebacker at first. I was training to play linebacker. But I knew in my heart, I started off playing running back. I had the most fun playing running back. I don't want to play no other position.
Right.
So I just wanted to play running back, and I knew that. So,
is there a player that you say inspired you or you try to pattern your game after?
Yeah, so before I played my first ever season of football, I watched Marshawn Lynch on TV. And I was in the room with my dad, and I was like, man, that looks easy. I can do that. Then I played. It wasn't easy, and I couldn't do that. But I did my best. So that's really what made me want to start playing.
Right. So now you're at Faith. This is your senior year coming up, right?
Yes.
Or your senior year. You're at Faith Lutheran. Like I said, I've watched you play. One of the elite backs in Nevada is this gentleman right here. Very focused on what he does. But one of the key things is he's very coachable. You know what I'm saying? Tell us a time in this journey to where you had to tell yourself, hey, listen, pick yourself up and let's get back on the grind. We have a goal to accomplish.
I say that time was right when I started at phase one, definitely. Because like at that point, that was just a point where I never stopped. You know, I wasn't 100% consistent from that point, but that was the point where I just didn't stop coming, kept training.
Right. So let me ask you this: how important would you say training is if you're going to really do this?
Well, training is, if you ain't training, you ain't gonna make it.
So
That's
it's
the most important thing.
So it's more than just the weightlifting at the school and practicing with the team.
Well, yeah, I mean, it depends on what program you're in, obviously, but if you always got to put in extra work, like I feel like that's obvious if you want to make it to the next level or be different. Like if you want to be different, if you're just doing what everybody else is doing at the school, I mean, you're just gonna be doing what everybody else is doing.
Right. Be average.
Like if you're doing different work, you're gonna be different.
Good. So listen. So now let's. And what does Cale see for Cale at the next level? Is Cale looking? Hey, you know what? I want to go to college. I want to possibly go to the NFL. Do you see that vision for yourself?
For sure. My main goal is to go to the NFL. And I obviously knew that since I started. Like, I'm going to just keep working until I make it. And that's just, like, my thing is, like, what else am I going to do? Right, that's all I want to do. So why would I not put my all into it?
Good. That's good. So let me ask you. So to have that and that focus, what's the drive? What keeps Cale, like you said, I'm not missing a day. I'm not stopping. What keeps Cale on that path when Cale doesn't want to do it?
Because if you don't miss a day, it gives you a certain, like some kids don't have, they're like, how do I get confidence on the field? If you don't miss a day and you don't miss training, that's your confidence because you kept your word. You said you're going to go to all 5 workouts. You missed one. I mean, I don't like missing one. Like, that's not 100% confidence in yourself that you went. You need to be able to keep your word to yourself. That's how you build your confidence. So that's what I think.
So it's mindset. Now, let me ask you this, because, you know, I know your father and I know your mother. I'm very close to your family. How important would you say the support of the family is?
It's the most important because without the support of my family, I mean, especially my dad just doing the research and he helps. I say he does about 50% of the work. But I say for like the people that don't have that, just like I say go on YouTube, look up workouts, just put your all into what you can do. I mean, but it's very important to have a supportive family.
Now, do you say if you was to, let's say you're talking to a kid that doesn't have that support, if they was to find a mentor, you know what I'm saying, what type of mentor would they look for, you know what I'm saying, to get the success they need?
That's a good question, but I say just like stay close to God and like make sure you're just putting your 100% in whatever you're doing. As you don't like a mentor, of course that's gonna help you, like with certain things, like if you have questions or anything like that. But at the end of the day, if you're not 100% committed to putting your all into what you're doing, then like you help yourself. Like nobody can help you but yourself.
Right. So let me ask you this: have there ever been a time where you've been on this journey and like, I don't want to do this no more? This is just, it's too much. I don't want to do this.
A lot, like probably 10 times in the process. Because, you know, things get, like our generation, we're impatient. I'm very impatient. Like, I'm not going to lie, I'm very impatient. Like, if something doesn't go my way, like, I'm not going to be
throw
cool.
in the towel.
Yeah, like, dang. But, like, the whole journey is taught me patience and, like, to just trust God in the process and just, like, know you're going to end up where you're supposed to be. So, yeah.
That's good. So now let me ask you this. You're at Faith Lutheran. Let me tell you guys something. I've literally watched this kid play football at Faith Lutheran. I've been to a couple of his games, and to see him train when he first started training and then to see him actually play now is black and white. It's black and white.
Yeah.
I've you know, you've grown up, you've completely leaned out. I mean, it's like, you know what I'm saying? But let me ask you, what would you say as far as your position on that team, if you're going to be the type of elite player you are, what type of voice you have to have as a team player?
Well, for me personally, I don't, like, I'm talking a lot right here and stuff like that, but in real life, I really don't have much to say. I just put my head down. I'm just doing what tell me to do in practice, doing what I do. Like I don't have like I let people do them, but I'm a lead type example type of person. So I don't want to like be annoying in somebody's face. You know, I'm just not that type of leader.
Right.
Yeah.
What would you say if? How would you? You know, because like I said, you're a phenomenal football player. How would you inspire somebody from your standpoint? If someone was to, a little kid was watching and watching you on, you know, play and was like, okay, man, I want to be like this dude. How do you inspire that kid?
That's a good question. I mean, I would just inspire him by just doing me, like I said, lead by example. Just you see what I'm doing. I mean, sure, you could do it too. So that's basically the best way to inspire somebody. Because at the end of the day, if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. If they want to do it, they want to do it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now let me ask you this: how do you deal? And this is, I want you to go a little bit deep into this. How do you deal with the distractions? One, the social media, okay? Because we all know how dominant that is right now.
Yeah.
You're a nice looking young man, you know what I'm saying? So how do you deal with the distractions and keep your mind focused on the end goal?
Yeah. I mean, it hasn't always been easy. Like before, I've definitely had problems with not problems, but like just too focused on the distractions. But I've learned to just throw it all the way and just say, I know what I want. You people aren't for me. You people, you're not going to help me get to the next level. So I'm going to just focus on myself. Stay in my room, stay chill, play video games, keep my mind, because it's just not for you. It's not it. And it's
So how do you deal with, okay, so at your level, and most athletes at your level are dealing with this. And even me in dealing with, you know, the kids from the academy and young athlete, a big struggle is time management, knowing what to do and knowing when to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, across your journey from where you've been, where you're at, and where you're going, what technique do you use to make sure that you have proper time management?
Well, one thing I don't is like, say for school, like I'll the first thing in the morning I do is just I do online school fully. So like I make sure when I get up in the morning, I make sure I got 8 classes. So I have to do 2 classes a day to be done by Friday. So I'll make sure I do that before I do anything else. I do knock out my school, you know, do everything I have to do. Make sure I'm training. It's pretty easy when you're in school and you have a schedule. Cause like when I was in school, like actually in school, I had my class and everything. You come out of school, you do some homework and then you go train. It's pretty simple. You just got to make sure you're focused and make sure you're not keeping your mind somewhere else.
Right. Now let's talk about nutrition, because you know I've watched you lean out. What would you say about the nutrition side of it? We talked about the training. What would you say about the nutrition side of this? How dialed in? How important? What's the benefit of the nutrition side of it?
The benefit is a big benefit. Like, of course, you can eat Doritos, McDonald's, and stuff, you know, and still perform. But like, you'll definitely feel way better and way different if you're eating the right foods, like protein, carb, fat. Making sure you're eating I don't really eat many vegetables, but you know, say a regular meal for me would be like a steak, some rice, and a banana, like stuff like that. And that just like, it makes you feel lighter on your feet. It just makes your mind clearer, everything like that. So it's a big part, and you got to make sure. Like for me, I had to lean out, so I had to make sure I was lowering my calories until you get down to that weight. But once you get down to that weight and you lose that fat, it's just a whole nother game. So yeah.
Now let me ask you: when you look at Cale, you know what I'm saying, as you focused on the nutrition and as you focused on the training, where did you see because a lot of times it's hard for us to see the growth in ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Other people can say, oh, well, you leaned out, or you so much faster, or you're doing this so much. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas you, being the actual individual, you don't really see it the way other people see it. Okay?
Yeah.
So when did you see that, wait a minute, all of this is actually working?
Well, probably just like seeing the results before my eyes. Like, because we'll have like a miles per hour vest, and I'll see it go from month to month. My miles per hour just keeps going up and up and up. Like when you have devices like that, it's easy to tell. But like if you don't, you'll like I felt fast. I felt bouncier on my feet. Like you'll feel it as you go, especially if you don't miss a day.
Right.
Yeah.
And you keep saying you don't miss a day. You can't miss a day. When did you adopt that philosophy?
After my sophomore year, I say after my sophomore year.
And what happened during your sophomore year that made you say, wait a minute, I can't miss a day?
I just wasn't happy with my speed and where I was athletically. I needed to get faster. I knew I needed to get better, way better. So I just like, the only way this is going to happen if I take this seriously, I ain't going to miss a day. It's the only way. And I made major improvements, and it worked. So now I just live by it.
Good. Let me ask you this. Do you see, like this is your last year, what goals have you set for yourself? Not transitioning, just if you was to say, okay, this is my last year. These are the top 3 goals I want to accomplish this season.
Be a better leader, because you can always improve on that. And, of course, rush for 2,000 plus.
Me personally, I think you can get it because I've seen you play. I've seen you play. If you was to say, let's say your last 3 years, as far as you as an athlete, what would you have to fine tune to reach that goal?
Just honestly, I could have got it this year, but just making sure I keep my body in check and keep making sure I don't get injured. Just keeping that's the one thing I want for this off season is to keep this injury prevention. Right. So that's the one thing I want to fine tune for sure.
Now I know you did have one injury, and what was that this year?
Yeah, I was out for 4 weeks off of soft tissue injuries. Yeah, and it lingered too. Like I was never fully 100% the season, but you never are anyways playing football. So yeah, it was just soft, like hip flexors, TFLs, little stuff from that, because I'm lifting enough. Like in the last off season, I did a lot of running, because I needed to get my speed and athleticism up. But I wasn't doing the side lunges, the reverse lunges, the stuff that I need to do.
So let me ask you this. Now, that 4-week process, okay, mentally, how was that for you? Knowing that, wait a minute, I can't do what I love to do.
I was just like, I didn't know what, I was going negative.
Right.
My mindset was just negative, because I know how important your junior season is, and I was just like, man, it was a rough time, but I ended up, luckily I got through it, or with God I got through it, and I ended up rocking through, just pushing through it, and ended up popping off. So
now let me ask you, so during that time of the injury, those 4 weeks, did you want to throw in the towel?
Oh, no.
No, you didn't want to give up and throw in the towel?
I worked too hard. At this point, I ain't throwing in no towel.
Okay.
No.
Those 4 weeks when you were down, dealing with the injury, it was more so what kept you from not wanting to throw in the towel? There you go.
Because I knew I was going to recover and be back eventually. Like, I knew I wasn't going to be out for good. I knew it was soft tissue. Like, I'll heal back. I just didn't know how long. I thought it was going to – I didn't know if it was going to be 12 weeks. There was 12-week injuries. I was good in 6 weeks, I'd say. Like, I just didn't know how long. Like, I wasn't – because I couldn't lift my leg. I couldn't run. So – but I eventually just got through it, and I just trusted it. I trusted the process.
Good. At the level you're playing at right now, like I said multiple times, I've seen you play. What would you tell younger athletes that wants to be an elite running back? What advice, what encouraging words would you give them if they were to watch this podcast?
I would just say make sure you focus on your speed, because speed is the most important thing. And make sure you're not lifting like a bodybuilder, and you're young. Like, you don't need to be focused on your food, but just main thing, make sure you're focused on your speed and your training. That's it. That's what I would say.
That's good. All right, there you have it. Another episode of our Phase 1 Elite podcast with our athlete spotlight featuring Cale Breslin. Hey, listen, we're going to have his IG in the bio. Listen, tap in. This is his senior year. Tap in. Check out his videos. Watch him. Good kid. Cale, man.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you stopping by and hanging out with us, man. We look forward, and good luck in your senior season.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.